out here asking people, do you know who James Cagney is?
No, I'm sorry, I never heard of him.
I don't remember, but I certainly have heard the name.
Yankee Doodle Dandy, you ever hear that movie?
No.
You ever watch any old gangster movies?
No.
So do you remember any of his films?
Yeah, but I can't think of any by name right now.
Do you know who James Cagney is?
Yes, Yankee Doodle.
It's Yankee Doodle Dandy.
I think he was more on the Western.
Sometimes. He was kind of known for a certain type of a role.
Well, singer, dancer.
So Cagney, West Side Theater, how incredible.
Can you believe it?
It was an incredible show. I mean, I saw it at the York. So exciting to hear that it's opening again. You know, what inspired the show?
Well, James Cagney inspired the show. That's the bottom line. He was one of the greatest actors, film actors ever. He is an incredible humanitarian. So, I mean, the short answer to that is James Cagney inspired the show. My inspiration for creating a show about James Cagney came while I was in acting school. And I didn't know much. I knew Yankee Doodle Dandy, sort of, and then a teacher said to me, you remind me of Jimmy Cagney. I know you tap dance, and you kind of have his energy, and I started watching his films and sort of became obsessed with how he was on screen, and then also started reading about his life and finding out who he was as a man. And there's much more to this story, but the long and short of it is a fire was lit within me to sort of bring his story to stage.
Some actors you see and they're playing a role and you kind of go, yeah, I believe it, he's great, she's great, but you know, they don't kind of seem or look like the role. You're the embodiment of Cagney as much as I knew about the actor before seeing the show. I mean, there's so much of that, the voice, the look, and of course the acting, and it brings it to life. What I really took away from the show was he was labeled the tough guy because of the studio system, right? And that was, you know, I think a big piece of the show of, you know, he was a hoofer, right?
Yeah.
He got into the biz, right?
Totally, that was his entree into show business, vaudeville.
And what do you think about telling that story of the guy who wanted to be a song and dance man? He was put in that system, in the Warner Brothers system, and said, you're a tough guy, this is what you're doing, and then breaking out of that.
One of the two themes of the show is really his battle with that persona which he was pushed into because it was making money for the studios. His artistic side fought against that, you know, as he would say in his own book, Cagney by Cagney, that was a struggle for him.
The tough guy that I took away from the show is the man he stood up for certain things. The tough side was the guy who believed in union rights and Screen Actors Guild. So
sticking up for the little guy.
Right.
That was a theme in his real life, and often became, when he wasn't being the bad tough guy, he was the little guy who was sort of battling against a larger machine. He grew up, though, on the streets of New York, which is one of the reasons my dream was to get the show to New York, because he was such a New York guy and forged by the streets of New York. So we got to do it once, and now we're getting to do it in an even bigger way, which is mind-boggling to me.
And one would never have expected that he'd then go on to adore George M. Cohan and do Yankee Doodle Dandy, right?
Cagney won his Oscar for playing George M. Cohan in Yankee Doodle Dandy, and when he was asked about, you know, are you going to imitate or did you imitate him? And his answer to that was, don't believe in it, because then you can only do what they did. I thought, what better advice to take in playing James Cagney than how he approached doing the biopic that he won his Oscar for. So I don't imitate James Cagney. In scenes, he always looked like he was either gonna kiss you or punch you.
I'd like to bury the hatchet. Right in a thick skull.
There's always a forward energy, and so I sort of take that essence and then just play it for real and don't think about trying to imitate him. Or, you know, in the early days I would see how he moved his hands in Yankee Doodle Dandy and do all that, and I can do sort of a bad impersonation, but I'm not an impersonator, so I sort of take the essence and then just do it for real. People, no matter whether you know Cagney or not, are going to come in and the story will resonate, especially the more and more we get into this political season and, you know, the tough stuff that's going on in this country and those kinds of things. Tickets are already selling on telecharge, and which is, they're buying tickets to the show.
Well, the ad campaign's incredible. That's why.
Yeah. So it's very exciting. We got great reviews at the York, so we have lots of exciting things to share in that way, like quotes and stuff, which is fun. So
Robert Creighton as Cagney.
Thanks so much. This was fun.
Well, we have our little towelettes.
Nice. Hey, it might be a role for you. We'll get back to you.